really fucking his job.
Tonight on the National Rundown, Trump has gone
It
against
carries on.
Putin following Russia's most recent deadly strike on Ukraine. China calls America's bluff in the midst of their trade war. And 4 alleged migrant gang members have been sent to El Salvador despite a court order. Stay with us.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Cinderella found the pet that fits her perfectly, and you can too. Share your heart, share your love. Make a shelter pet part of your world. Happily Ever After begins at theshelterpetproject.org.
Welcome to the National Rundown. My name is Nick Rizzo. Trump has gone against Putin as the president urged the Russian president on Thursday to stop following a deadly attack on Kiev, the capital of Ukraine. Trump stated, quote, "I am not happy with the Russian strikes on Kiev. Not necessary and very bad timing. 5,000 soldiers a week are dying. Let's get the peace deal done." Russia hit Kiev with the deadliest assault on the city since last July, as 12 were pronounced dead and another 90 were injured. Trump's frustration is continuing to grow as a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine hasn't gained much progress. Trump has fired back at Beijing after the capital of China stated that talks between the United States and China centered around tariffs were fake news. Trump stated, quote, "Well, they had a meeting this morning, but the president did not specify exactly who he was referring to." Trump had previously stated that the two countries have been in constant conversation regarding their trade war, with the two sides being in contact every day while pushing for a deal. It has also been rumored that the Trump administration is considering possible tariff exceptions for some Chinese auto parts. With great soil and a cool climate, Monterey County, California is the perfect place to grow wine, grapes. Hundreds of vineyards use environmentally friendly methods to produce exceptional vintages. Now, winemakers have a greener way to package their wine. The device created in the UK is called a Frugal Pack. It creates wine bottles out of recycled paper. Nicole Walsh has the details.
With great soil and a cool climate, Monterey County is the perfect place to grow wine grapes. Here, hundreds of vineyards use environmentally friendly methods to produce exceptional vintages.
Bonnie Doon's always been a pioneer, really pushing the boundaries of sustainability and farming practices, whether that's organic, biodynamic.
Sustainability has been one of our core values since our family founded this business in 1972. We've always just believed very heavily that you need to treat your vineyards well, your land well.
Now winemakers have a greener way to package their wine. This device created in the UK is called a Frugal Pack. It creates wine bottles out of recycled paper.
We describe them as a wonderful, sustainable option in the wine packaging world.
Shannon Valadares is with the Monterey Wine Company. It is the only place in the United States with a Frugal Pack.
The response has been excellent. I think the retailers have really stood behind this concept and said, this is what we want.
Making and transporting glass wine bottles requires a lot of fossil fuel, which creates a lot of carbon.
When you think about the weight of traditional wine bottles and that glass and what goes into making the glass, blowing the glass, transporting that glass, there's a huge carbon footprint there.
I mean, we sell to 30 countries internationally, and so having a lighter weight bottle and one that has less environmental impact is really great from start to finish.
The process starts with flat cardboard covered in art.
The wonderful thing about this bottle is the entire canvas is your label.
A plastic insert will hold the wine. The device then pinches, folds, and molds the paper into a bottle. The contraption can make up to 500 bottles an hour.
We feed the line.
Those bottles are then filled with wine and packed in boxes.
This is half the weight of a product that is made with glass.
For the winemakers, they are raising a glass.
Boy, this is awesome. I really hope that customers in the stores, that they get it, because it's kind of different.
And, you know, it's a start. It's something that we I think collectively have to be thinking about. How can we make an impact that's better for our planet?
You can now find these wines at places like Target and Whole Foods, uncorking the future of wine right here in Monterey.
The Pentagon is resuming its medical care for transgender troops. Gender-affirming care for transgender service members has been resumed after Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth set out to restrict their participation. They found that the order that Hegseth put in was unconstitutional by reversing the Biden-era medical policy for these affected service members. The Trump administration is appealing the move, but California denied the department's effort to halt the medical care while the challenge is pending. The Trump administration on Thursday asked the Supreme Court to allow the Pentagon to ban transgender service members while legal battles continue to play out. However, judges ordered the military to refrain from forcing more than 1,000 transgender troops to be removed from service and taken off gender-affirming care. Coming up, a Trump-appointed judge has ordered the return of a Venezuelan migrant deported to El Salvador. Stay with us.
I see it!
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Hey, did you know that 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Go to theshelterpetproject.org and search your local shelters and rescues. Go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But I get it, you're busy, and busy people can't have prediabetes. I read that wrong. They can, okay? Just go to the site.
The Trump administration claims that they sent 4 alleged gang members to El Salvador despite court orders. The deportation happened only 3 days after a U.S. district judge ordered that migrants be given a chance to speak out before they are deported to countries like El Salvador. The administration claims that the 4 migrants were a part of the Tren de Aragua, a Venezuelan-based gang. Unlike previous deportations that were carried out by the Department of Homeland Security, these ones were carried out by the Department of Defense. The Trump administration makes a new emergency request of the U.S. Supreme Court. He wants to stop transgender military service members from serving. Solicitor General John Sauer said the injunction that was issued by a lower court usurps the authority of the president in determining who can serve in the nation's armed forces, that he says runs counter to the High Court's own decision in the first Trump administration to move forward with the ban. The ban on transgender soldiers means no transgender people can serve. The emergency request was made today. The lower court said the Trump administration failed to make its Cassell. A Trump-appointed judge is ordering the return of a Venezuelan migrant that had been deported to El Salvador. The 20-year migrant going by the pseudonym of Christian was sent to an El Salvador prison on March 15th. He was a part of a class action lawsuit filed in 2019 by a group of undocumented migrants who entered the U.S. as unaccompanied children, and a settlement was reached. Despite this, Christian was deported. It had been ordered that Christian should be returned to the U.S. under the agreement of this former settlement. When we come back, a look at the New Jersey wildfires and who the police charged.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
A 19-year-old man is accused of starting New Jersey wildfires. Joseph Kling has been arrested in Waretown, New Jersey, and has been charged with second-degree aggravated arson, third-degree arson, and other crimes. The suspect allegedly set wood pallets on fire and left them outside without putting them out. The fires have burned over 15,000 acres and are still burning. In what's shaping up to be a huge retrial for Karen Reed, more witnesses took the stand today. Reed is accused of striking her police officer boyfriend with her SUV and leaving him to die in a snowstorm back in 2022. Last year, her first trial ended in a hung jury and a mistrial was declared. Reed, who is from Massachusetts, is charged with second-degree murder, manslaughter while operating a vehicle under the influence, and leaving the scene of the death of John O'Keefe. So far, prosecutors have relied on the witnesses from the scene. The jury, which took 10 days to select, has heard testimony from police officers and firefighters, as well as friends and family of O'Keefe. 2 acclaimed actors are set to appear in upcoming Disney projects, and the last host of SNL season has been revealed. Here's Patrick with entertainment.
Is making his way over to the Star Wars universe. The Academy Award winning actor has received praise for his versatility for roles in films such as The Notebook, Drive, La La Land, and Barbie. And now he sets his sights on a new project. The Disney project is titled Star Wars Starfighter and will be directed by Deadpool and Wolverine director Sean Levy. Passionate for the franchise from a young age, Gosling is excited to hop on board for the film coming to screens 2027. Julia Garner is revealed as Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four: First Steps. This is the second time the Silver Surfer has been portrayed on screen, and the first time since the 2007 film, which was unrelated to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is also the first time the character has been played by a woman, and the first full-fledged Fantastic Four movie to hit screens since 2015. SNL is announcing their host and musical guests for the last episodes of their historic 50th season. Abbott Elementary's Quinta Brunson will host May 3rd episode with musical guest Benson Boone. The May 10th episode will be hosted by Walton Goggins off the heels of the Righteous Gemstones season finale, with Arcade Fire featuring on their 6th SNL appearance as musical guest. And the season finale will take place on the 17th, with Scarlett Johansson coming to host for her 7th time and first time since 2019. The musical guest will be Bad Bunny, his 3rd appearance. Bad Bunny also made an appearance earlier during the 50th anniversary special alongside cast member Marcelo Hernandez's Domingo character as his brother Santiago. That's all for entertainment. Back to the desk.
NASA is releasing photos from far-off galaxies in order to celebrate the Hubble telescope's anniversary. 35 years ago, Hubble was launched into space and since has discovered 1.6 million observations throughout the galaxy. To celebrate this milestone, NASA has released many stunning photos that have been taken by the telescope in its years among the stars. India and Pakistan are in conflict over attack. The conclave prepares for the election of the new pope, and the world responds to Russian attacks on Ukraine. Here's Jaden with World News.
My name is Jaden Prenti, and welcome to tonight's World News Minute. The Indian government has placed blame on Pakistan following an armed attack that killed 26 people in Kashmir. In retaliation, India will revoke the visas for all Pakistanis by Sunday. Pakistan has fired back by temporarily ending trade with India. Evidence has yet to be released of the connection. Pre-conclave meetings have begun at the Vatican following the death of Pope Francis. The 113 cardinals are set to discuss the Church and the world ahead of the election of the 265th Pope. Over 61,000 people have paid their respects to the late Pope at the public viewing of his body in St. Peter's Basilica. A missile barrage has injured around 90 Ukrainians and killed at least 12 in Russia's latest attack. The strikes lasted about 11 hours, beginning at around 1 a.m. and targeted 5 neighborhoods and multiple residential buildings. Both Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and President Donald Trump have spoken out against Russia following the attack.
After the break, stick with us as Matt will join us for sports. Here's Matt with sports.
There's a lot going on in the sports world, and what might be the most important for many is the NFL Draft. Tonight, the NFL Draft kicks off from Green Bay at 8 p.m. as those young men's dreams become reality. The Tennessee Titans hold the #1 overall pick, and the rumors are they will select quarterback Cam Ward. The Cleveland Browns hold the 2nd pick, followed by the New York Giants at 3. This should be an exciting night for all the players drafted and the fans of the NFL. The NBA playoffs have been an exciting one so far. In the East, the Boston Celtics look to complete a 2-0 lead over the Orlando Magic, but they will have to do that without their superstar Jason Tatum, who suffered a wrist injury in Game 1 of the series. In his absence, Jaylen Brown stepped up with 36 points, while big man Kristaps Porzingis would go on to drop 20 points, but took a scary hit to the head late in the 3rd quarter. Porzingis would shoot the 3 free throws and then head to the locker room to get cleaned up from the blood that was coming from a cut on his forehead. With 7 minutes left in the game, Porzingis returned to a standing ovation from the Boston crowd. The Celtics would go on to win the game 109-100. In the West, the Golden State Warriors would go on to lose to the Houston Rockets 109-94. Losing the game wasn't the only problem for the Golden State, as one of their star players, Jimmy Butler, left the game late in the first with what looked to be a serious injury. Jimmy was able to walk off the court on his own, but never returned to the game. It was reported to be a pelvis injury, and Jimmy's return to the court is unknown. In a heartwarming story, the Colorado Avalanche get a much-needed boost to their lineup. Captain Gabriel Landeskog made his return to the ice after many years away due to an injury. Landeskog suffered a serious knee injury in the 2020 Stanley Cup playoffs, where he took a skate blade to the knee, causing cartilage damage, requiring multiple surgeries, even a cartilage transplant in 2023. Last night, Landeskog received many cheers from the fans as he took his warm-up lap. His wife and 2 kids behind the glass held up a sign saying, "We are proud of you, Daddy," before the game started. Despite the amazing return, the Avalanche would go on to lose the game to the Dallas Stars 2-1 in overtime. That's all for the sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Here's Mwanza with the weather.
Hello, beautiful people. I'm Mwanza Fitzpatrick, and I have your weekly weather update. Tonight, we'll have a high of 79 and a low of 46. It's going to be cloudy. Moving on to Friday, it's going to stay cloudy, high of 79, low of 50. Saturday brings an 85% chance of rain, a high of 74 and a low of 55. Moving over to Sunday, the rain's going to cool things down, high of 63, low of 46. We're going to be windy and cloudy. Moving over to Monday, it's definitely going to warm up with a high of 71 and a low of 45. Tuesday's going to jump 10 degrees higher with a high of 81 and a low of 50. I think it's safe to say that summer is finally on its way. Now let's take a look at your weather window. What's going on, beautiful people? This is your weather window. We got some graphics for you. Right here, we get to showing off the beautiful flowers to show what Mother Nature has to offer here in this spring season. We're gonna switch over to show off the carpenter bees that's flying around Rowan University campus, identifying that spring is also in the air, as carpenter bees do not like to be cold. To finish off our graphics, we got some more beautiful flowers to show off again what Mother Nature can present to us. Nick, what do you plan on doing with this warm weather that's coming ahead?
Warm weather, you know, definitely spend some time outside, you know, play a little basketball, you know, it's that time of year. I just need some consistency, that's all I need. I wake up one day, it's freezing cold. Next day, it's the hottest day of the year, so I just need some consistency in there.
Yeah, we definitely have some type of consistency. I mean, Sunday is going to be our off day, you know, with a low. But other than that, though, we're definitely going to have some consistency throughout the week. I definitely can agree with you. Consistency would be nice, but Tuesday, that high 81 is definitely going to be something I look forward to.
That's perfect weather right there. 81 degrees, you know, nice breeze as well. Hopefully we'll get some in there, but 80 degrees and a nice little breeze, that's the perfect weather for me.
Perfect outside weather, that's right. Shoot some hoops, man.
Yeah, hopefully it's not too hot this summer. But that wraps up tonight's news. Thank you all for joining us. Have a great weekend.